in the name of God and all that's holy, I command you to tell us who you are, what you are doing here. And the individual says, she is not one of you. We were playing hurling in the field below, and her job was to stand on the sideline, and if the ball went over the ball, or it's called in hurling a schlitter. I'm not swearing, by the way, that's what it's called. It's called a schlitter, the little ball with which to play hurling. Her job was to make sure it didn't get lost. And she wasn't doing her job, and now we can't play hurling. And there'll be no peace in this house until we find that schlitter. So immediately, Gertine realized the solution to the problem. And he reached for the claw hammer, he smashed the stone, he took out the little ball covered in mortar, cleaned it up and threw it at this individual, who grabbed it, and then he said to her, "Gutchin Shautasa, you come on, you're coming." And Dawn said, you are going, but I order you to remove the spell from her, because she is a changeling. And a changeling is a child who was stolen by the fairies as a baby and was raised by the fairies. So the individual, in his fury, he took off the spell, and Maureen Sullivan came back to life, and the guy took off. So Gertine said to her, "Mary, you're as beautiful as ever. I suppose now that the spell has been removed from you, you will probably go back to your own people. I asked you a question one time ago, if you would consider marrying me, and you said no." And Maureen Sullivan said, "Why don't you ask me again and see what happens?" And he did, and she accepted. And in that house where there was sadness, there was now joy. In that house where there was crying, there was now music. In the house where there was sorrow, there was now rejoicing. And they danced and they sang, and the rafters were raised until the sun peeped through the window the following morning. I asked her who her father was. She told me was the minister. I knew I stood in danger, gur will up to the Becky May. If I had you in a neat grove, either clarosis macaras, your sparkling eyes do taste me. Chilarmo frita tanavich, Sanansan alavari, the volley is the kitchen, Sananas taki para, Barbalia make me Havana Balamar in the valley is the kitchen, Savannah stocky pan.